I can give you an update. Obviously, everybody is going crazy right now with the whole beef, everything that's going on with YoungBoy, Akademiks, Lil Durk. I find it very interesting. I'd love to hop on one of not Durk. I don't think Durk's gonna be inviting me to any streams, but I'd love to hop on. One of Akademiks' streams and add a little bit more context, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff being said, and I think that there's just a little bit of info being left out, a little bit of info going over people's heads, and I think things would be, what's going on with this focus? I think things would be a little bit more clear if everything gets tidied up. But man, this whole Akademiks, YoungBoy, Durk back and forth thing going on is pretty crazy. I think the interesting thing is, if you want to just give me my honest opinion on it, I feel like what Ak is going around saying, that like YoungBoy got sort of baited into this beef with Lil Durk. Durk was dissing YoungBoy. Durk sneak dissed YoungBoy, and it went over everybody's heads. When they asked Durk when he was getting in that car about is there any beef with YoungBoy, and he was like, what beef? And then he said, shout out to Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen just beat YoungBoy to the #1 slot on Billboard. Durk knew what he was doing. So that was a sneak diss at YoungBoy. So Durk's out here dissing YoungBoy, and then people are acting all surprised, like, oh, YoungBoy, I can't believe he's dissing. I can't believe it. But actually, Durk started it. Durk actually started it, people. Okay? That's what's getting forgotten. And it's crazy seeing Big Ak kind of getting himself involved with this whole beef. And you know what's really interesting that I think a lot of people are also overlooking? Okay, let me tell you something. I'll tell you something that went over a lot of people's heads. Some people didn't even know. But are you ready for this fact? All right, you might not know this. Lil Durk tried to sign both YoungBoy and Quando when they were coming up. Durk's tried and failed to sign both of them. So this little conflict is a lot more complicated than a lot of people are letting on. Durk wanted to sign both of them. There's an old YoungBoy lyric where he's saying, you know, I don't want to sign to OTF. And he ends up signing to Atlantic in a big deal. Durk also tried to sign Quando. There was some back and forth about that. And obviously Quando ends up signing to YoungBoy, which is kind of interesting, right? Things go on. Eventually you find out Durk is actually a big fan of Quando, you know. Durk was on, I think, 2 or 3 songs with Quando back in, like, we're talking like 2017, 18, 19. Probably 18, 19, I think. But, you know what I'm saying? All these guys were all cool. They were all tapped in. They all wanted to hook up with each other. And then, obviously, you know, as we know, everything came to a head when Von unfortunately passed away. But, you know, this whole beef is something I'm working on at the moment. It's very complicated. It's very long. But the funny thing is, Akademiks, like, he might not even realize, but Akademiks has actually been right in the middle of this beef for a long time. The year that all went down with like Von and Quando and stuff, something really interesting happened where you had Akademiks was clowning Quando for his low record sales on Diary of a Lost Child. And, you know what I'm saying? As we all know, Ak ended up going back and forth with Quando. Quando said, like, Ak, you don't deserve to live no more. And then, obviously, Lil Reese got himself involved, started dissing Quando Rondo, making fun of his record sales. And all of that culminated in the big, you know, the night when everything all went wrong. And obviously, Von ended up passing away. But, and, you know, ever since then, it's been a deadly, public, nasty beef. But, you know, Akademiks has been in the middle of this thing since all the way back then. And, you know, I wonder, Ak might have forgotten that he was all up in it with Quando back when Diary of a Lost Child was coming out. That's when, like, Lil Reese was first getting on his case. So, I'm researching the YoungBoy situation and the Quando situation. I'm finding it interesting that Akademiks is sort of falling right into the middle of the beef. And then, all of a sudden, you've got YoungBoy, Durk, Akademiks, they're all going back and forth on Twitter. It's very crazy. But I'm going to have more info for you guys very soon. I'm going to keep looking into it. And there's going to be a lot going on around this topic.